Well, good morning everyone. I wanted to give you a little montage this morning, if you will, and show you where I'm putting some hay down. And mind you, I just put one roll of hay in each strip so that I don't build up a bunch of hay and get it thicker than the grass can grow through. And you'll be amazed at how fast this decomposes when it starts to warm up. And the green grass will poke through it and we'll have built-in fertility, and it'll really come on. So I'm gonna take you around the place, show you a couple different areas I've been working on, and we'll put it all together. Stay tuned. If you will recall from my previous video creating pasture from wooded land, there was a tree taken out right here, and there was a big root ball, and he packed that in, and you can see how the cattle come in and they love walking in this fresh dirt. So I'm going to unroll a roll of hay that's going to come through that area and then extend up here to another area where there was a burn pile and some other stumps that were burned. You can see I've fed one roll there. You can see all the manure that's being distributed and a little bit of ryegrass seed that's coming up on that spot. So I'm gonna unroll some hay there, and then we'll do a little walk around. They love rubbing on this hay, or at least some of these bulls do. You can tell these cattle are super content. They're not hungry. They're not running over the tractor to get to the hay. They've got good fill. There's a couple thinner ones in here, and most of those have some big calves on, and I've got to get those big calves off. And I'll video those later and show you what I have for sale. So that's coming up. But I wanted to remind you that when you got a roll of hay on here, I like to unroll it as a big, as just a solid layer as it unrolls, just like it was rolled up. And if, again, hard to do without a tripod, but if I pet this hay just like I'd pet a dog, this way it's smooth. This way I'm running into stalks that want to stick in my hand, and when I want to unroll it as a continuous layer the opposite way that it was rolled up, I'm going to go the way the smooth side is with the grain. So I'm going to hook the bale unroller to this side of the bale. So that's a real important point. A little harder to do one-handed than you would think. This is really high quality Bermuda grass hay. No weeds in it. A client puts this hay up for me. These are probably 1,000-pound bales. They're not real big, but it's really good hay, very high quality. So we take the netting off, and always get rid of the netting. I don't want any of this in my pasture. Once it lays in your pasture for a little while, this Bermuda grass will start to grow through it. You absolutely can't get it out. You'd have to burn it to get rid of it. when I'm backing up to these rolls, I want to be really careful. These cattle will get right in the way. The last thing I want to do is hurt one of them. So I got to go slow, let them see it coming, and just good common sense, because they will get right in the way and they don't see it coming, and you roll through that. Okay, so I got the bale captured. I'm going to put the 3-point down. I'm going to relax the spear just a little bit so it'll unroll easy. And I'm going to come adjacent to where this last roll was. They'll clean more of that up. And then I'll stop when I get to the edge of that burn pile, and I'll put the rest of this roll out just adjacent to it. So there's where another tree was taken out. Sorry for the shadows, it's just that time of day in winter time when the sun's at a weird spot. And I don't mind putting this hay down over established grasses. They'll eat it all and leave a little bit and fertilize the soil. So this unrolling hay, unquestionably, in my opinion, the best thing you can do for your property. You worry about the waste to a certain extent. I mean, obviously, we don't want to waste any hay. Look at that dang bull. They love it. So I'm not opening the spear here for a second because I don't want it to open on him and injure him. I'm going to have to get up here away from him. Here is a good example of what happens when you unroll hay. So this strip of trees here, just everywhere where the cattle are under right now, this was solid yaupon, and it looked just like that over there. Dense, cattle could walk through it, but they got to pick their way. You walking through it when you're trying to walk through there, you got to find a trail, and it's a mess. But here's what I want to show you. We cleared this, and this whole strip looked like this. I'm gradually putting out more hay, and you can see there's roots sticking up, and all those roots will die. They'll actually just bust off, and I'll just keep picking them up as I drive around the pasture periodically. A lot of them will die and I'll never see because they'll be covered up with grass. But look at the soil, just bare, stark, it's naked. It's not gonna grow anything without some help. So here we are, late January. I've been unrolling some hay gradually on all these spots, and there's lots of spots, so I pick and choose. I'll unroll in one area where we cleared some trees and let them have that, and then I'll move so that they're not just standing in manure. But you can see they're lined up getting some breakfast this morning. But the important part is, look at where I've unrolled this hay. And this was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'd put some ryegrass seed down. The ryegrass seed was put over here as well, but it's not growing. It's only growing where I unrolled that hay. So that hay gets some soil cover, it provides some organic matter, and it gives, as it's decomposing, it gives the seed, once it sprouts, it gives it some nutritional value and some fertility to grow. So very, very interesting. All the strips of green here, may not show up on video well, is where hay has been unrolled, and the ryegrass is starting to come up through it. So just interesting, and I want you to see that. So you can see all that little bit of green over there. So I'm going to unroll a roll right through here in this bare spot and keep covering everything up as I go, and this will be probably a solid stand of grass late summer. We'll see. So in my never-ending quest to maximize my pasture without clearing out all the brush, aka the yaupon understory, the scrub cedars, etc. I want wildlife cover, so I don't want to clear it all. But in my quest to maximize production from the perspective of pasture, but leave good cover for the wildlife, and just make it this a happy home for a lot of species, not only my cattle. I've gradually, over the years, we just figure out what we want to do a little bit at a time. So when we had the track hoe come in here, we were removing dead trees, and that was the goal when we started. And I was looking at what I got and decided that I was going to clear another little strip here. So I got a neighbor's place through those trees. It's probably 80 yards away, and I don't want to totally clear everything. I just kind of like to be a little bit alone out here. So I don't want neighbors seeing me. I don't want to see the neighbors to any great degree. So there's a thin layer of brush here that you can't see through, and then there's a strip of land right next to the fence where it's cleared, and we can drive around there and get to the fence without any junk and trees growing into the fence. So here's the point of all this. I took and cleared from this little low spot just to the right of that pine tree. You can see that little low spot, a little runoff area here. So where that low spot is, this way, was all newly cleared. So we left some of the bigger trees, took out the yaupon and the scrub cedars, the smaller cedars, and we were left with bare dirt here, all bare dirt. So I'll show you that. So this bare dirt, to get it into production, I would have to seed it or sprig it or what have you. You can see the tracks left by the skid steer where he kind of dressed up the top layer. You can see the cattle have been in here. But what I'm doing is unrolling hay on all this, and that hay will decompose. The Bermuda grass actually will start to grow, and I'm putting fertility down on previously basically barren soil. I mean, it's stuff that's in the forest per se. You can see a lot of manure scattered around, and all that is going to help this take off. And I'm gonna update you as we go through the summer, but you're gonna be amazed at where I put all this hay down. The cattle have tromped it in. We've got lots of manure for fertility, so they're recycling the fertility, and you're going to be absolutely astounded how fast this bare dirt that did not have anything growing on it from the perspective of grass, how that starts to come along. And so I definitely don't mind wasting some hay. It's great for the fertility as it breaks down, and I'll just keep covering these areas till I get everything covered with one layer. The cattle will pick through it. You can see we got some clay area here where he buried a burn pile, and I'll get that covered up. But we'll have grass out there, Bermuda grass, and I'll show this to you again this summer. That'll just absolutely hurt your eyes. It's so beautiful. So stay tuned for that. I really enjoy improving the land like this. It's just fun to watch it go, and you will too. So hope you have a great day, and I will get this video up, and if you have questions, please comment below. I appreciate you watching. I would appreciate you liking and subscribing, and thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.